If you have heard about the term difference in difference, but have always wanted to understand it better, then hopefully by the end of this video, you will have a much better understanding of this method. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Sagar and I just completed my PhD in economics from Brown University. Today we are going to understand difference in difference together. Difference in difference, or DID as it's commonly called, is one of the most famous or one of the most commonly used empirical methods for causal inference. That is, this method is used to understand the causal impact of some sort of program. And I think it's best to actually understand it with an example. Let us say that there is a particular state called state A, which had a new education policy within which they made college education free for everyone who wanted to enroll in college and had completed high school. And let's say that we are interested in understanding the impact of this policy on college enrollment. So this is the variable on which we want to understand the impact. How can we do it? So let's think of ways we can understand the impact of this program on college enrollment. Now, one way is to compare college enrollment before and after within state A. And let's make things more concrete. Let's say that the policy came out in the year 2015, and let's say we have college enrollment data for state A in year 2014 and also in year 2016. Now one might say that we can compare the college enrollment in state A in these 2 years, and that would say something about the impact of this program. Now let us think about the ways this approach can be problematic. So first way in which this approach can be problematic is that what if something else also changed in these 2 years which could affect the college enrollment? Maybe there was some national level policy which increased college enrollment for all the states, and that also affected state A. So for example, if we see that in 2014, 70% of the students were enrolled in college in state A, and in 2016, around 80% of students are enrolled in college. Now the difference is 10%. But can we say that this 10% is a result of the policy? No, because there could be some other policy at the national level which could have also increased these numbers. What is another way in which this approach can be problematic? So for example, now the state launched this policy in 2015. Maybe there was some other mass campaign in state A which was trying to promote the importance of education in state A. In which case, there could be other things also going on at the same time in state A, which could have potentially led to this increase in college enrollment for state A. Another reason can be that we see this 10% increase, but maybe the things in state A were such that, let's say this is 2014, so this is 70%, and let's say this is 2016, so this is 80%. Now we might be thinking that this increase is as a result of the policy, but maybe in 2012, let's say this was 60%. And in 2010, this was, let's say, 50%. In which case, the college enrollment in state A is generally trending over time, right? So we cannot really say that this is due to the policy that this increase is happening, because if we look further behind, this increase may just have been happening all the time, right? So due to these reasons, we cannot just compare before and after pattern to conclude anything about the impact of the policy. Now let's think of another approach in which we can try to get at the impact of the policy. Let's say we also have some other state B which did not have any such policy in the year 2015. Now, can we somehow use this state to say something about the impact of the policy? And let us again be more concrete, and let's say that we have 2016 college enrollment data for both state A and state B, right? So somebody could argue that let's just compare in 2016 how college enrollment is different between state A and state B, and we could infer something about the impact of the policy. But let's think about the scenario. Suppose we see that in 2016, for state A, we have college enrollment which is, let's say, 70%, and for state B, we have it at 64%. Now here we see that in 2016, the college enrollment is higher for state A as compared to state B, but can we really say that this is the impact of the policy? It could be that state A, I mean, one thing is that it could be the impact of the policy. We don't know about that, but let's think of this scenario in which state A was already doing better than state B in terms of college enrollment. Or it could be that state A takes college enrollment or education very seriously, and therefore it already had higher numbers, and it also came up with this policy. Sorry for my terrible handwriting. But yeah, in this case, as we can see that we do not know what was happening in state A and B before the policy. So just comparing these numbers, we cannot really say much because it could be that state A already had higher levels. Now we can think of the opposite scenario as well. That is, let me change the color. So that is in 2016, state A has only 50% college enrollment, and state B has, let's say, let's keep it the same, that is 64%. In this case, one might say that the policy is not working, or the policy is actually leading to decline in college enrollment if we just compare these levels, because state B has higher numbers than state A. But here also, we do not know what was happening before the policy. So it might be the case that state A was already doing bad as compared to state B in college enrollment, and that was primarily the reason that they came up with this policy, that they actually wanted to increase the levels of college enrollment in their state, because the state knew that they were already doing pretty bad as compared to other states. Now it's possible that in this case, this is actually an increase, right? It could be that in 2015, this was 40%, and in 2015, this was, let's say, 62%. So in this case, we can see that there is a much higher increase in state A. Now, as we have seen, and as probably now you can imagine, that these two approaches by themselves, and let me reiterate the two approaches. One is just comparing in the state A before and after the policy. And second, just comparing after policy levels in state A to some other state. These approaches by themselves just do not work, and they are not enough for us to say anything about the impact of the policy. But what if we combine these two approaches, as we can see in this case? In this case, first we take the difference in state A in 2016 and 2015, and we can see that this difference is 10%, right? But here we do not conclude that this 10% is a result of the policy, because we also have another state which we can look at. And here we see that in state B, this increases plus 2%. So in this case, we can see that state B, which did not have any such policy, also grew its college enrollment by 2%. So it's possible that this is the result of some national campaign or some national policy, or just things growing over time, right? So in this case, since we have these two numbers, what we can do is we can take the difference of these differences, that is, we do 10% minus 2%, and we say that college enrollment increased in state A by 8% as a result of the policy. We can see how this takes care of the two problems that we were having earlier. One is that we were not sure whether this increase is generally happening over time or due to some other national level policy. And for that, we can use the increase in state B, and we can subtract that from the increase in state A. And similarly, it also takes care of the problem which we had with the second approach. That is, in that case, we were not looking at how things were in states A and B before the policy. So that is something we can do here, and we can compare how things are changing differently in state A as compared to state B. So this method is called difference in differences, because what we did here is first we took this difference, that is 50 minus 40, and we similarly took this difference, that is 64 minus 62, and then we took the difference of these two differences, which is here 10% minus 2%, which gives us this estimate, which is 8%. So this is exactly what difference in difference does. We first take the difference of before and after the policy in state A, and similarly we take the similar difference in state B, which did not have any such policy. And then we take the difference of these two differences to say something about the impact of the policy. Now there are many subtle things here. There are many assumptions that this method requires. Like for example, how things are trending before 2015 in the two states. And also there are subtle things about how you choose the control state, right? So there could be many other states as well. And you can imagine that can be very important in understanding the impact of any such program. But that is for another video. That's it for now, and hopefully you found this video helpful, and hopefully you now understand difference in difference better. Thank you for watching this. See you guys in the next one.